Doreen Primary, welcome back. This time I'm in my lounge room. I'm actually standing up on a chair because this picture is quite high up near the roof and I wanted you to have a look at it. We talked about perspective drawing and this lovely example by a local artist, Chris Pittard, of a perspective drawing that is of a place very close to you in Kangaroo Ground, the Kangaroo Ground Tower. Now, I tried to get you a little bit excited about colouring in and using some maybe watercolour paint or some pencils when you do your enhancing on your designs. Love the way the road swishes around and the car is powering towards the top of the hill, and you can see in the distance the tower poking up behind the trees. You can have a look at the clouds, have a look at the colours that he uses in the distance. The further away you get, the whiter the land becomes. So a little bit unexpected, some beautiful work in the clouds. Perhaps you could choose one of the drawings that you've already done while you were practicing your perspective tasks and colour them in. See what you get. Another thing that I thought would be good for you to think about is the way you use your pencil and the way you try to add some tone and some light and darks to your picture, and even the pencil line themselves. We've talked about different ways of making marks on paper. We've talked about cross-hatching, we've talked about stippling, we've talked about using your pencil in a different way, not holding it as if you're going to write a letter to somebody, holding your pencil back at the end of the stick so you get a little bit more random freedom with the way you flick it around. Making pencil marks that are really unexpected makes your drawing a bit more interesting. If you can control your pencil enough to keep within your guidelines, but give it enough random sort of scribble to add another layer of interest to your work. So I've drawn a picture of a bag on the floor. It's not a very exciting example of pencil marks, but just to show you how much more detail you get in, much more perspective you get in when you add light and shade. The other example that I want to show you is a study of a rhinoceros, but I want you to look at the pencil lines and the way I tried to be as loose as I could with pencil lines and let them sort of be playful. So I'd like you to give it a go, being playful with pencil lines. The artist that I want you to learn from today, the artist that's going to be your teacher in this new task that I'm going to set for you, is René Magritte. He's a Belgian artist born in 1898 and died in 1967, making him a modern artist, a surrealist artist. And if you look him up on the internet, you'll find some fantastic images to inspire you and comments like his work is witty and thought-provoking, and that it certainly is. One of the images I'm going to talk to you about first that I would like you to have a think about is this crazy picture of men in suits falling like rain from the sky. He's used correct perspective in that they're painted very realistically, and the large ones feel like they're forward in the picture frame, very close to you. The smaller ones are like moving out into the distance, so he's created a really large depth of field, a big sense of space in his picture. The building down the bottom is convincingly rendered, so it feels like a realistic picture, but the composition itself is quite nonsensical. So it is, in that way, it does really make you think, what on earth is the artist trying to get you to think about? The second Magritte picture that I want you to have a look at is this picture of a window, and through the window you can see the landscape in the distance. However, the odd thing that that Magritte has done with this composition is he's made the window have a pane of broken glass, and the broken glass is leaning against the wall inside the room. The image is painted onto these shards of glass. So now that the glass has fallen out of the window, it's actually carried some of the landscape that you could see through the window with it, and it makes you question whether it was a mirror or a painting or a window. This final Magritte picture that I'm going to show you of the apple in the room is the task that I want to set for you in your next drawing. He has rendered an apple with huge amount of accuracy. It's a really convincing, beautiful, delicious looking apple in a very small room. Or it's a normal size room with an enormously, unbelievably large apple inside the room. He's playing with perspective. He's being fun, light-hearted, putting two things together that you would never expect to put together and creating a dilemma. So I would like you, in your next task, to try to create a dilemma like Magritte does. Put together some things that don't really belong together and use what you know about perspective to make it a convincing piece of work, but let your composition go wild. Enjoy!